Hello, I'm Dr. Rick Chambers and welcome to this edition of Health, Happiness, and Harmony Partner Training videos. The video today is entitled Now Basics, and now is the narrative of wholeness. And I'll be giving examples to understand what we mean by the words holistic, as in holistic health. But you're hearing holistic in a lot of areas. And so the narrative of wholeness is the scaffolding for a living oral wisdom tradition, helping people in the individual journey toward health, happiness, and harmony within local community. Don't worry about all of this. There's separate videos on this first portion that it's mainly important to get to the examples. The purpose of Now is to teach people to think in a way that is more holistic and understand the term holism. Holism understands the world as a web of relationships in which nested parts with integrity and boundaries relate to subparts and other parts within the same system and the larger whole. The science of ecology, which is the science of relationships, is the best example of this way of understanding the world. So as I said, don't worry about that. We're just going to apply it to these examples. And the first one I would like to talk about is called senses. And we have common sense, book sense, and screen sense, even flat screen sense. And so these are ways of perceiving the world. And there's a danger in the world today that screen sense is somewhat silencing or changing both common sense and book sense. And so in holism or holistic, rather than choosing one or the other, the idea is to hold them in some type of dynamic tension or creative tension to try to live in all three parts of the circle. Then we have different ways of being smart. Head smart, hand smart, heart smart. There's a danger in the world today of the head kind of ruling the hands and the heart. So we want, if we're moving toward a holistic view of the world, it is trying to balance and hold in tension knowledge in our head, the knowledge in our heart, and the knowledge that comes from our hands. In the journey toward health, happiness, and harmony. And again, the idea is to see them in relation, these three things in relationship with each other, and to try to value them all and bring them into like individual wholeness. And trying to help people living you can think of this as the science of life, the art of life, and the craft of life. So trying to bring these things into some type of relationship. Worldviews, the traditional worldview, the modern worldview, the postmodern worldview. So rather than choosing one, it's being able to understand the world from all three and realizing all three worldviews are between you and other people, but they also exist within you. And this is something called the Wesleyan Quadrilateral. John Wesley was a Methodist, the founder of Methodism, and he said when you're approaching truth, but we'll say knowledge or meaning, there are four approaches: reason, experience, tradition, and scripture. To update it for the modern world will include like scripture of all faiths. And again, in the modern world, reason has dominated or discounted traditional faith scriptures, individual experience, and especially tradition. And we want to hold these things in some type of balance and to see them in relationship with each other. And so Obviously, we need some help with these videos. And so to make all of this better, now functions as the educational materials and support for an oral tradition. It's scaffolding. It means our initial videos are just scaffolding, only of temporary use. When you build the building, you take down the scaffolding. And so this is just something that allows us, as we're building, to know what we're trying to build and to give an idea of what we're trying to build. And you can help us through Patreon. You can help us fund improvements to these materials, but also through Living the Good Life Now, you can actually work with us to create these educational and support materials. So thank you today. Sorry it was a bit long, but please join us for more.